Do you remember your fractions? By the way, here we come up with some astronomy events. Winter becomes spring on March 20th. It is the spring equinox. The full moon is March 28th, and we're calling it is called the worm moon this month. Why? Because the earthworms will start to resurface at the end of the month. Fractions. What are fractions? What is a fraction? A fraction consists of a number, a numerator part on the top of a denominator separated by a horizontal line. See that? The fraction equals your numerator divided by your denominator. For example, the fraction of a circle, the fraction of the circle which is shaded is 2 parts for 4 total parts. In the square on the right, the fraction shaded is 3/8 and the fraction unshaded is 5/8. The total is 8, and then 3 is shaded and 5 is unshaded. Equivalent fractions multiplying. In the 3 circles on the right, each have equal parts shaded, yet are represented by different but equal fractions. These fractions, because they are equal, are called equivalent fractions. So the first circle, you have the shaded part is 1/2. In the next one, we have divided the circle into 4 equal pieces, and 2 parts are shaded. And in the third circle, the circle has been divided into 8 equal pieces with 4 parts shaded. Any fraction can be changed into an equivalent fraction by multiplying both the numerator and the denominator by the same number. Notice that you can take 1/2 times it by 2 on the top and the bottom, and you will get 2/4. Or if you took the 1/2, multiplied it by top and bottom by 4, you would get 4/8. You can see from the example above that each fraction has an infinite number of fractions that are equivalent to it. Equivalent fractions dividing, reducing. Okay. Equivalent fractions can also be created if both the numerator and the denominator can be divided by the same number, a factor, evenly. This process is called reducing a fraction by dividing a common factor, a number which divides into both the numerator and denominator evenly. So if you'll notice in our first sample, we're dividing each number by 4/4, and so we get 1/2. If we have 27/81, we can divide each by 9, and we'll get 3/9. In the next example, we have a 5 and a 30. Divide each by 5, and we'll get 1/6. And in the last example, we can divide each by 2 and get 3/5. Simplifying a fraction, reducing to its lowest terms. It is usual to reduce a fraction until it can't be reduced any further. A simplified fraction has no common factors which will divide into both the numerator and the denominator. Notice that since 27 and 81 have a common factor of 9, we can find that 3/9 is an equivalent fraction. But this fraction has a factor of 3 common to both the numerator and the denominator. So we must reduce this fraction again. It is difficult to see, but if we had known that 27 was a factor, as shown in the last example, divides both the parts of the fractions evenly, then we would have arrived at the answer in one step. So we divide by 9 first, and then we can see that you can take another 3 out. 9 times 3 is going to give you the 27. What types of fractions are there? We will review all different types of fractions, and I will emphasize which ones will be important for rational functions. A common fraction is one which the numerator is less than the denominator, or a fraction which is less than the number 1. A common fraction can also be called a proper fraction. So 1/2, 3/4, even 88 over 93 or 15 over 8 over 15 are all common fractions. Some fractions, when reduced, are really whole numbers. Whole numbers occur as the denominator divides into the numerator equally, such as 8 divided by 4, which is 2, or 30 divided by 5, which becomes 6. So the fraction 30 divided by 5 is really the whole number 6. Notice that a whole number can always be written as a fraction with a denominator of 1. Mixed numbers. A mixed number is a combination of a whole number and a common fraction. We will not be changing rational functions into mixed numbers. Improper fraction. An improper fraction is one in which the numerator is larger than the denominator. From the circles on the right, we see that 1 3/4 mixed number is the same as 7 over 4, improper. Okay? An improper fraction like 7 over 4 can be changed to a mixed number by dividing the denominator into the numerator and expressing the remainder 3 as the numerator. So you can take 16 over 5. You'll notice it'll turn into a mixed number 3 1/5. 29 over 8 changes into 3 5/8. And 14 over 3 changes into 4 2/3. Improper fractions. Continued. A mixed number can be changed into an improper fraction by changing the whole number to a fraction with the same denominator as the common fraction. Okay? So notice in the first example, a simple way to do this is to multiply the whole number by the denominator and then add the numerator. Okay? So 4 times 9 plus 5 gives us 41/9. 10 times 7 plus 2 gives us 70 plus 2 for 72 over 7. All types of fractions must always be simplified or reduced to the lowest terms. So 6/9, you can take a 3 out of both of those, you get 2/3. Even if you have a mixed number of 2 and 5/25, the 5 and 25 must be changed to 1/5. If you have an improper fraction of 27 over 18, you can reduce that by dividing each section by 9 to 3 halves, and then you can change that to the mixed number 1/2. Note that many fractions cannot be reduced since they have no common factors. These cannot be reduced. They have no common factors. Examples of types of fractions. We're going to identify the fractions below. What is 2 over 3? It's a common fraction. What is 3 4/5? That would be a mixed number. What is 7 over 5? That's an improper fraction. What about 8 over 8? What is that? A whole number of 1. What about 24 over 2? That would be a whole number, and it's 12. How about 5 and 8 over 19? That would be another mixed number. We're going to simplify the following fractions. We have 28 over 40. We're going to divide each number by 4 for 7 over 10. What about 80 over 10? How would we do that? Or what would we get? Divide each number by 10 and we would get 8. How about 2 and 12 over 18? Divide each number by 6 and you would get 2 2/3. What about 5 over 27 divided by 54? Divide each number by 9 for 5 3/6. See how you can still divide each number by 3, so it's 5 1/3. How about 25 over 15? Divide each number by 5 and you get 5/3. What about 90 over 12? Divide each number by 3 and you get 30 over 4. And see how you can still divide each number by 2 for 15 over 2. That's the end. Thank you very much. And thank you for your participation.